Take 4. I haven't done this one for a while, so I keep forgetting bits. So this time I'm not going to try, I'll just look if I miss my mark. So this toy's been borrowed from my neighbour across the road, who very kindly lent it to me, and with the assistance of young Nick, we'll load these up onto YouTube for you. I thought I'd do one more, which is The Man from Ironbark, 1892. It's quite a funny one, the kids like this one. It goes, it was the man from Ironbark who struck the Sydney town. He wandered over street and park, he wandered up and down. He loitered here, he loitered there, till he was like to drop. And when at last in sheer despair he sought a barber's shop. The barber chap was small and flash, as barbers mostly are. He wore a strike-your-fancy sash and smoked a huge cigar. He was a humorist of note and keen at repartee. He laid the odds and kept the tote, whatever that may be. And as he saw our friends approach, he whispered, "Here's a lark. Oh, you watch me catch him alive, this man from Ironbark." There were some gilded youths that sat along the barber's wall. Their eyes were dull, their heads were flat, they had no brains at all. To them the barber tipped the wink, his dexter eyelid shut. I'll make this bloomin' yokel think his bloomin' throat is cut. And as he soaped and rubbed it in, he passed a rude remark. "Suppose the flats are pretty green up there in Ironbark." Grunt was all reply he got. He shaved the bushman's chin. He made the water boiling hot and dipped the razor in. He raised his hand, his brow grew dark. He paused a while to gloat, then slashed his red-hot razor back across his victim's throat. Upon the freshly shaven skin it left a livid mark. No doubt it fairly took him in, the man from Ironbark. He fetched out a wild up-country yell, like would wake the dead to hear, and though his throat he knew full well was cut from ear to ear, he struggled gamely to his feet and turned to face his foe. "You've done for me, you dog. One hit before I go. I only wish I hadn't liked you, blessed murdering shark, but you'll remember all your life, the man from Ironbark." He lifted up a hairy paw, and with one tremendous clout, he hit the barber on the chin, knocked the barber out. He set about, with tooth and nail and tooth, he made the place a wreck. He grabbed the nearest gilded youth and tried to break his neck. And all the while his throat he held, to save his vital spark. And "Murder, bloody murder," yelled the man from Ironbark. A peeler man who heard the din dropped in to see the show. He tried to run the bushman in, but he refused to go. And when at last the barber woke, he said 'twas all in fun. It was just a trifling joke, a little overdone. "A joke," he cried, "by George, that fine, a likely sort of lark. I'd like to catch the murdering swine one night in Ironbark." And while round the shearing floor the listening shearers gape, as he tells his story over and over and brags of his escape, them barber chaps what keep the tote, by George, I've had enough. One tried to cut my bloomin' throat, but thank the Lord it's tough. And whether they believe his story or no, there's one thing to remark, that flowing beards are all the go, way up in Ironbark. Finally got there. Time for a drink. Cheers again. Good night all.